You were a client of mine, recently finished my program. How much were you drinking and how was it affecting your life?
It was all consuming. I was like, oh, when is my next drink? I'm planning for my next drink. It was the back of my head all day, every day. And I have been a drinker since my teens. It was the first thing I went to feel a relief from my daily life, which was quite unpleasant looking back on it. And I instantly thought, oh, this is amazing. This is Nirvana. It makes me feel fabulous.
Mm.
And I carried on drinking. And over the last couple of years, I was really worried about my drinking, trying AA, knowing it wasn't for me, thinking, oh, I haven't got a
Yeah.
problem. I was like, I drank the Kool-Aid, fully went into it and moved up to New York. And I felt isolated and alone and stressed and anxious because I was a new mum. I can manage it. I can control it. I don't need it all the time. And it just sort of slid in over the years, over the last 10 years, I suppose, to the beginning of this year, I tried AA again, and it would have been the third time in the last 2 years.
Mm.
And I was desperate. I was like, I have to do this. I have to make it stick. And the thing is with AA for me is that they talk so much about alcohol that it was almost cementing.
Yeah.
Like I'd get out of a Zoom meeting with AA and for all the best will and intention, like listening to people talk about the reasons why they've been sober, their journey, as much as it's inspiring, it's very talking about drinking.
Mm.
And I was white knuckling through it. Yes, I had the sport of AA, but it used to make me, it would add fuel to the fire. It wasn't resolving any of the issues. It was just making me think, I have to really just be strong. I have to get through this with willpower.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and it didn't work for me. It hasn't worked for me. But the three times I've tried AA since,
Didn't
no.
work. No.
And I was drinking probably on a Monday night, like a bottle of wine and maybe another drink, like a cider or a beer or something. But that would increase over the days towards the weekend. If I saw friends, all bets are off. And even at the weekends, I'd start drinking at midday. And even if I wasn't doing anything, just hanging around or,
Yeah.
I'd plan my days out with my son around, let's go for a walk. Oh, there's a pub nearby the playground, or, you know what I mean? And this year I just realized I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. I can remember you couldn't walk past a pub without going in and getting a pint of cider. Well,
Yeah.
I can remember you telling me about that and us working on that. So, what made you decide it was time to get help with your drinking? Other than AA, were you looking for something else? What?
Yeah. I had started to really experience the negative effects of heavy and serious, which I consider myself as a serious drinker. I was hiding bottles, I was being sly, I was being secretive. Um, and more to the point, actually, the thing that really pushed me over the edge was that I was beginning to have really regular blackouts. I
Oh,
hated who I was becoming, and I felt that if I didn't actually properly get some help, then
mhm.
things were gonna escalate quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was something about you and your story and your methodology that really inspired me and resonated. And I thought that what grabbed me the most was that you weren't just saying, let's sit down and I've tried talk therapy. I've had years of therapy and counseling, and
Yeah.
it's just for me, it's reinforcing the fact that life was hard.
Yeah.
You've had a quite a tough deal of cards, but I wasn't dealing with how these things were making me feel now that I'm a grown up.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I took from your information and your like literature, I guess, was that you want to deal with the root causes. And that was the first time I'd really heard anyone talking about root causes and alcohol in the same place.
Yeah.
I think my biggest fear is failure.
What do you mean?
I thought, what if I spend this money
Mhm.
and I do it and I can't stop? What if like she doesn't help me or she can't help me? What if I'm beyond help? Like AA doesn't work, then what if I can't do it with this woman? Then what's next? It felt like I connected with you so strongly. And the minute that we met through Zoom or whatever, when we had our first chat, I thought, I felt hopeful. I had an actual glimmer of hope. And through my whole process with you, that has been something that I have felt blossom and bloom. And I haven't felt hope, had anything, any glimmer of like there's a light at the end of this tunnel
Yeah.
for a really, really long time. I love that it felt so personal and so tailor-made, and it didn't ever feel like this is something that you use with everyone. And I know obviously there's a certain amount of it that's, it felt so personal and so I felt really secure with you. I
Yeah.
didn't feel like you were judgmental in any way. And I felt that I could be, I guess, my complete sort of authentic self.
Yeah.
And I think with drinking, what you don't do very often is let anyone see the real you. I mean, for
Yeah.
drinking for me was that whole facade. I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm the loudest in the room, like, so dropping that nonsense with
Mm.
you was a big step.
Yeah.
And I think that for me has been a massive transformation. I feel for the first time in my life that I am lovable. I have a newfound confidence in that everything is exactly how it should be and where I should be. And I feel peace and again, hopeful, but I just feel this real peace. And I've never had that before.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Where other therapies haven't worked, immediately you gave me a set of, it always was drinking. And
Mm.
now I don't know, I'm just much more in my body and able to take myself down a level
Yeah.
instead of letting it get all hectic.
I'm reaching for a drink. Yeah.
And like that was the first session. I can truly remember thinking, this is it. I'm all right. And I remember hearing there's a song, I think it's by the Blessed Madonna, and one of the lines is, if you can get through the next 6 months, what comes next will be marvelous. It makes me feel like crying.
Oh, yeah. You told
Yeah.
me that. Oh, that's lovely.
Because it felt real. It just felt like this is solid.
Yeah.
This is not going to be as hard as all the other things. I'm committed. She's here for me. This is a real program with actual tools, with actual things you can do and use. And I felt like you were with me even when you weren't with me.
Yeah.
So it was really helpful like that
That's
from
lovely.
the get-go.
Yeah. Amazing. So how has the program changed the way you feel about alcohol?
Oh my gosh, so much so. So almost through talking about it with you quite quickly, it you kind of deconstruct this myth that
Mm.
alcohol is glamorous and we deserve a drink if you're sad, if you're happy, if you're celebrating, if you're commiserating. And I know that we're all fed this through the media, and our parents have been brought up with it. It's not just us, we all have had that.
Yeah.
And it really resonated when I think where AA didn't. AA still kind of puts alcohol up on this pedestal, like, you're alcoholics and you can't have it, and but other people can, but that's because you've got the disease of alcoholism. And that I didn't even like that when I was into the AA stuff, because anyone in their true clear mind can see that it is a poison and that it's toxic. The
Yeah.
fact that I now see people drinking, even, I mean, I go out for dinner and with my friends and have water or non-alcoholic beverage and they're drinking a glass of wine. It's not like I can't be around it, or I'm, a massive sort of don't go near alcohol.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have any appeal at all. It makes me feel, the thought of drinking an alcoholic beverage makes me feel like, oh, be like saying, I'll have some bleach. No, I'm okay, thanks.
You have it.
Yeah, fine. You carry on. I'm okay with my sparkling
Yeah,
lime juice.
exactly. So how did you like the program, going through the program?
I've really enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
has been more than just giving up alcohol,
Yeah.
which has been obviously, the most transformative and an amazing outcome. That in itself is a miracle.
Mhm.
But how I now live and how I cope with life, because life's still rubbish. I mean, that was one of the things that I learned through this program is like, I've been putting alcohol up on this pedestal. I'm like, oh, if I gave up alcohol, my whole life will change and it will all be better and I'll be thinner and I'll be, you know, richer. When you are all these things, but it's not quite, it's not, an, you know, I'm still exactly the same person without the alcohol, but I'm better. And the only thing that alcohol did was take some of my shine away. And yeah, the thought of it is no thanks.
So proud of you. Okay, so how has the program changed the way you feel about yourself?
Oh, well, I mean, it sounds a bit silly, but I would never have ever imagined 5 or 6 months ago being able to look in the mirror and look at myself deep in the mirror into my soul and tell myself that I love you and that you are doing an amazing job. I was really negative. I've thought I had a bit of a sort of victim mentality,
Mhm.
and I hid that through pretending I was okay and being a bit bravado-ish about everything, and everything was a joke. But there was all unresolved trauma and unhealed wounds. And now, yeah, I feel so healed, I suppose.
Yeah.
I feel complete. I feel all right. I feel, again, you know, ups and downs, good days, bad days. But on the whole, I feel like whatever comes next, even if it is something awful, I will be able to cope with it and it will be okay and that life is okay. For a long time, I've thought life was really awful. And I mean, I've had suicidal thoughts, suicidal periods, and I know that I'll never go back to that. And that's because of this course.
Mm. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, that makes me feel so amazing. Wow.
You should. You are amazing.
Oh, thank
You
you.
should.
So, how has stopping drinking impact different areas of your life into like mornings, like when we're drinking, we get up, it's like "Bleh," no energy, no motivation, like you just feel like shit. You feel stress. How's your stress levels now? Your relationships, work, health, those areas of your life. How has stopping drinking affected those areas?
I mean, everything's just better. My sleep, I sleep. Haven't had good sleep for most of my adult life.
Mm.
I've always said I'm an insomniac. I used to wake up most mornings at 3 a.m., obviously, because that's the alcohol wearing off.
Yeah.
Cortisol spikes.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
those times. Yeah, yeah, and I used to take sleeping tablets.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I've dabbled with all sorts of
Yeah,
stuff, even, like hay fever tablets and everything, just to kind of like try and knock myself out.
yeah. Mm.
Um, so yeah, I sleep really well. I eat better. I've lost probably about half a stone, and that's without trying. It's just fallen off. Um, I'm I've got a mental clarity that I didn't used to have. Like I said, if I feel myself getting anxious, I've got quite a stressful in terms I always have to look at the clock for my job.
Yeah.
And that sometimes used to like send me into this tailspin of like worry and concern.
Mm.
And I'm much better at just sort of, I don't know, just calm down. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not a brain surgeon. It's like no one's gonna die.
Not that important.
Yeah. Um,
Oh,
there's not a single thing area of my life that hasn't improved.
that's
My relationship with my son is so much better, and my mother, I mean, everything, everybody. And a few of my close friends have commented that I'm much calmer and I feel much more at peace. And I feel that. But it's nice when people say it, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely. You think, oh, what was I like before? How bad was it?
Oh, I know. I was absolutely bonkers. Yeah.
Oh dear. So, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about doing the program, my program?
I mean, I wouldn't, it's so difficult because it's such a personal, like
Mm.
for me, it's like I can't even just do it. Don't even think about it. If you are concerned about drinking, and of course, when I look back, the thing that worried me about drinking is, it takes one thing like a DUI or,
Yeah.
or hitting someone and a big mistake like that, and your whole life everything would change in a heartbeat. And I think without even realizing it, that was playing a big part in my anxiety because I felt like I really want to stop, but I can't stop. And
Yeah.
then, so if you're even thinking I'm drinking too much, then maybe have a really good look at like what's causing the issues and how we want to live because I wouldn't even hesitate. I would do it all again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like it has been transformative. It's changed my whole life
Yeah.
and it has been incredibly powerful, the work that we do, that you've done with me.
Yeah. And how long has it been now since you had a drink?
Coming up for 3 months.
Wow. And you stopped drinking before we even finished the program.
Yeah.
And
So we
you,
haven't done the alcohol hypnosis thing. We
yeah,
haven't done.
before we did that, you stopped drinking. It was when we started, because coming into the program, we start doing all that unreconciled stuff that's going on underneath. It's not about willpower. Any of the program, we don't even talk about willpower. We reconcile all that unaddressed, unresolved stuff underneath because that's where the wounds are, and that's what your subconscious mind is using to try and cope with all that stuff that's going on underneath. That's what the drinking's about. So when you start reconciling that and healing all that stuff, then you don't need, it's so much easier then because you're not looking for something to try and cope with all that stuff that's going on underneath.
I also think a big part of your program that really helped me was that you broke down like the neural pathway side of things. You made it very factual, very science based. And
Yeah.
when you start to understand why your subconscious is doing something, because you've done it every day forever and ever, and they're like, that helps, we're keeping us safe, let's do that.
Mhm.
Once you realize that all you need to do is send the signal somewhere else. I don't know, that to me was very practical and it kind of made it was like a light switch, like, oh, it's not like I need the drink. It's your brain telling you, but you've done this 1,000 times. This is where you want to go. This is the easy path. And then once I understood that, I kind of it hit me in a different way than just you're an addict and you can't stop drinking because you're an addict.
So all those times you went to AA and you was there, my name's Tessie and I'm an alcoholic, you now know that you're not. You never were. Because if you were, you'd still have a problem with alcohol and
Yeah.
you haven't anymore.
No.
Oh, amazing. How would you describe the program to someone who's considering doing it but worried about it not working?
I can't imagine it not working if you go into it thinking, oh, this isn't going to work, then you might not have so much success. But if you go into it thinking, I'm going to be open-minded and I'm going to try this, and if you want to like do the work and follow the instructions, basically,
That's all you have
and
to do.
yeah, then I mean, I can remember right in the very beginning, thinking, but what if I have this hypnosis and I never drink again? And that's like the little alcoholic Tessie going,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
God, what happens if you never drink again? Then the other side of me would be like, well, what are you here for? Like there is a certain amount of, you are a conscious human being. There isn't a magic wand. You still have to turn up. You still have to cry in some sessions, like it's not a walk in the park, but my God, I mean, I'm only not even 90 days without a drink, and I can't even begin to express my gratitude and thanks at how much I have changed as a human being. And it's only just beginning,
Yeah.
it's only the
Start.
beginning of the sober journey.
Yeah, this chapter. Do you still believe that you had a drink problem, or would you say the drink was a symptom and the real problem was deeper? I think we just answered that question.
100%.
Do you think it was worth the investment that you made?
1,000%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I can remember you when we first spoke and you had to think about it, whether you were going to invest or not, and da 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 da. But then you came back to me, and it's always interesting to me, when my clients come out when they come out the other end and they're not drinking anymore and their life is completely transformed, and then they say, it's not just my clients. I said it myself. I'm 5, 6, 7 years down the line now, and not drinking anymore, and knowing what I know now, I would have paid triple.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to put a number on it. Yeah. There isn't a price. I couldn't put a price on how I feel and how great it is to not think, oh, I can't get through this rough period without doing something that's really harmful to yourself.
So when you walk past those pubs now that you used to walk past and you couldn't not go in and have a drink or a pint of cider or whatever, what's the thoughts in your head now when you walk past those pubs and places where you used to, get the cravings, and all the times when you get the cravings now, how is it different?
Um, Truthfully, I don't even really think about them. They don't even, it'd be like walking past a butcher's or a bookshop. It doesn't really register.
Yeah, it's
And
like
this,
indifference, isn't it? There's an
yeah.
indifference towards it. Whereas before it was, oh my God, I've got to have a
Oh,
drink, and you're white
oh,
knuckling it. Yeah. Now it's like,
no thanks.
like,
And even the same in supermarkets.
mm,
Like I used to have to do like if I was saying I'm not going to drink today, but I have to go and get some food, and I'd run in and get some, and I'd be like, don't look at it, and I would literally, and
don't look
I'd be in
at
a
mine.
sort of cold sweat panic that I would actually just grab the booze and oh well, it's Monday, it doesn't matter, I'll give up again tomorrow, and
Yeah.
I don't, it just is like it's a poison. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
yeah, it's indifference. That is the word. I don't, and
Yeah.
I can be with friends when they're drinking, and I don't care that they're drinking. I don't want to drink. It doesn't make me feel any less or more or anything. It's just something else. It'd be like them having pork and I'm having chicken on the roast. You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Yeah.
you do
That's how
you.
I feel as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
When people drink, and people feel uncomfortable around you, but I find myself making people feel comfortable. Have a drink if you want to drink. It doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not you that's bothered, it's other people that are bothered that they're drinking and you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say? I
Oh
haven't
God.
got any more questions. If there's anything you want to say about the program.
Just thank you.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure working with you.
It's been amazing.
Great. Ooh, that makes me feel good.
Well, it should, honestly, like you've changed my life.
Oh.